But of course, we'll not talk about that, but welcome to studios and good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jagenda. Good morning, UBC. Good morning, UBC viewers.
Yes. Formerly now, RCC Jinja, now to...
No, I'm still RCC of Jinja.
Okay.
Until I hand over.
You haven't handed over
So
office.
I want to send special greetings to the people of Jinja City. That I am still RCC until I hand over.
What will you miss about Jinja for the time that you've been there?
I will miss tackling its entrenched problems of land issues and insecurity.
Okay. For the little time that you're in Jinja, I think you're in Jinja for about 5, 6, 7 months?
6.
6 months. For the time that you've been in, what are the challenges? What are those hard, tough moments that you encountered as RCC for Jinja City?
The strange way in which land grabbing manifests itself amongst the people of Jinja. That's one of the toughest challenges I've been following. Actually, I made a serious and long time study of what kind of problem it is, how it manifests itself, the people behind it. You know, the people behind it are what is most interesting, because some of them are based in Kampala, but they keep a foot in Jinja.
Kampala-based people?
Yes, to execute those land grabbing, land transaction, dubious deals in Jinja. And they use positioners. In fact, some of the positioners in the government and outside the government, but high-level positioners, are an embarrassment to, if people get to know who is who in that evil, that crime of oppressing and exploiting the people of Jinja. And it is going to take time, but it is a big challenge, because you find, you know, this matter of talk about the tribalism, where people say, but if this and this and this, you get stories, a Musoga on a Musoga. It's not a Sabini on a Musoga. No, a Musoga on a Musoga. And you might find a prominent Musoga on a low profile Musoga. So what I've learned is that greedocracy, there is what I call greedocracy, is a very dangerous thing. Greed. Greed forgets, is outside the tribe, doesn't care about religion, doesn't care about
political affiliation,
nothing. I know there is usually there is a convergence when there is greed, when there is something to steal or to rob. That's why you find a Musoga teaming up with an Indian. Very well, you might think that they come from a certain clan in Musoga, both of them. Because now the interest is simple. Greed, land, and land precisely, land. Where plots in Jinja, you get stories of plots that are sold 5 times. And where?
To different people?
Different people.
By different sellers?
By the same sellers.
Or by the same sellers?
By same sellers. LOC chairman is usually cited that he was the one who sold this to Jagenda. Now he has sold to Cheyuni. He has also, now make a mistake. Don't build there. Buy, don't build. You'll find a structure in it. Or even if you built a structure and you didn't enter, you leave a standing structure, disappear for some 3 months.
Just 3 months?
You will find it erased to the ground and a different one coming up.
In Jinja?
Yes, that's what those are.
Jinja has been one of your stations to serve, and I just want to know from you, from the different and various stations where you've been or where you've served, what are these things? How do you compare Jinja to any other place? What would you compare Jinja to of all the stations that you've had an opportunity to serve?
No, you know, each station has got its peculiar features, peculiar issues, peculiar challenges, peculiar opportunities. So in this case, Jinja is no exception. But what I can say is that Jinja has been, to me, 6 months. Yes, I was in Kaperebyong 7 months. Paris, it was 2 years. Now, even in Buyende was because it was in November to March. At least that one was about
November 2015.
Yes,
because I remember you went to when we were about to get into elections of 2016.
So
November to March.
To March. I think that was now about
5 months, 5-6 months.
Yeah, around there. Now, but what is special about Jinja is what I've just discussed. The level of grabbing, the level of unscrupulousness, and the level of decay, and the level of connivance and conspiracy, where Kampala-based big shots are cited in what I call grabocracy. I told this to the council, the city council in Jinja. I told them that we have a challenge of grabocracy, which we must fight together. Where I think, and I was saying, is there, because the locally talk about an evil spirit that possesses a person. Then I was wondering, could this be an evil spirit that is possessing some people here, that anything, land, even when they sleep, they are dreaming about land, because that is what defines some of the relations. Then you find the oppressed people, because I have been, for instance, I've been fighting for the people of Chimaka. There is a place in Chimaka below Muruko factory, and now Muruko claims that is this land. These people say, no, we were settled here by Slum Dwellers Association, who is the owner of the land. And they are in court. And I said, no, let court first conclude. Muruko, what are you rushing about? Muruko was saying, we must demolish these houses. Because today, Muruko, these are not human beings. These are cockroaches, I think, or rats, which must be dumped into the river, because it is near the river. I think that's how I saw it. And I said, no, we are here. That's why we as the government, we are here to make sure that you, the so-called investor, pursue your interests in law and sanity. And these people also stay and live in law. If the court says vacate, then we shall come in now to say, how do we sanitize the process such that these people live and the court has made its decision. Muruko was saying, no, this is my land. But your land according to what? Because it is the court which rules and says, this is your land.
Or it's somebody else's land.
You people give vacant possession to this man in this period of time.
Okay.
I think that's what normally the court does.
Okay.
So, and these things, but let me tell you, the NRM house on Rubas is under threat. Somebody says it is his house. NRM house, Rubas 21. And I said, no, a clear one. I said, as long as I'm RCC here, you cannot say you are taking the NRM house. So these are some of the queer things, because I've not been to a place where even the ruling party's office is under threat in broad daylight, and some NRMs are behind it.
Ruling
openly
party.
The leaders of the party say, we are what? They are behind. They are even saying that man take it. That is his plot. That's his land. So these are some of the things that I have observed, and many other things, because I think I've gathered a lot. 6 months is enough time for a mind that is open.
Okay.
Because wherever I go with an open heart, open mind, because I'm interested in understanding this country, Uganda. And that is when you appreciate His Excellency, the President, that he manages this state of Uganda.
With all its peculiarities.
Yes, this place has its unique problems, they are this. This place has its unique problems, they are here. And the man is in charge. 1 year, 2 years, 20, 30.
Okay. So next stopover is at Nabila Tuk in Karamoja. You don't know when you're supposed to go to Karamoja. And what are your expectations just before you get into the new leadership at Parliament and what we think awaits the Right Honorable Anita Mong and Thomas Tayewa?
The next the expectations, that is if I go.
Don't you want to go?
No, that is if I go to Nabila Tuku.
Yes.
You have to put it that
Yes,
way.
that's if you go.
That if I go.
Are you saying you want to go?
No. I am saying that you put it in better English. That if you go.
Your next stop is at Nabila Tuk in Karamoja.
That is if I go.
Oh, okay.
Because if I go, I have no idea about that place.
You've not been there before?
I could have been there accidentally because I remember when I was teaching with the university, we had a program, a special program for the training in Moroto, and I think twice I passed through that place, through Nakapiripirit. Chironko, Muyembe, Namaru, then Nakapiripirit. And some people are telling me that there is that route can take you up to Nabila Tuku. So one thing is that one of my concerns or worries is the language barrier. Because as a RRDC, you are expected to not only monitor but explain positions of government in
clarity, in detail.
Oh yes, that is, you go if you have a radio opportunity, no problem. But now that even gatherings are coming up, the best is when you gather people. They could be LCs, they could be ordinary people gathered.
Baraza setting.
You explain. You explain to this when in a school setting and so on. So that is the biggest challenge that I anticipate, and I'm wondering what use, what kind of use I will be, or I'm expected to be in a place of that nature. I'm not saying that people should not go outside certain places or be in certain places, because I had a friend of mine, he was a congressman called Kashunju Enoka. Kashunju Enoka died, but Kashunju Enoka, whenever I would be talking, he told me he worked as an assistant DC in Karamoja. Okay, in the 60s, I think. He worked as assistant DC. Yes. But you see, the DCs of that time are different from the DCs of this time. The DCs of that time were even rare. But for us, we are expected to be actually community workers. You must be amongst the people. You can even be there and be part of them. And if they are cleaning a place, you go and join and use it as an opportunity to direct them on what should be done. Tree planting and so on. Schools and so on. So that the Nabila Tuk story is an interesting one to me, going on in my mind. I said, but now, what is this? What is the deployment authority expecting me to do?
To achieve?
Yeah, because there must be expectations. What are those special qualities that I have that make me deployable
in Nabila Tuk? To do the three duties that the Constitution mandates, that the Constitution talks about.
To be in charge of security, when you can't pick intelligence, because you must also pick. Because like in Jinja, I was doing my best to improve the security situation, because it got bad soon after the removal of the
lifting of the lockdown.
Yes, but I picked by myself some of the fears that insecurity was cropping up, and to summon a special security committee meeting on a Sunday. He said, come, people, come. Because I had picked. Now, Nabila took. As they say, alakaranoi. So what is alakaranoi? What is what? Okay. But what are those special? I'm yet to understand the special qualities that I possess that make me deployable to Nabila Tuku.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Now, let's just get to Parliament. On Friday, we witnessed the elections of the new Speaker of the 11th Parliament, the second female in our history, the Right Honourable Anita Amongo, woman member of Parliament representing the people of Bukedea, and Comrade Right Honourable Thomas Tayewa from Rwanda, Ruhinda. Also coming in as a deputy speaker, and of course having moved from office of the government chief whip. In there now, what is being talked about now is these two at the helm of Parliament, defectors of the FDC party, and Thomas Tayewa, I think before coming or joining FDC, started out with he started out, I think, with Chapa Karuhanga. He started with Chapa Karuhanga before.
National Democracy.
Yes, he started with Chapa Karuhanga before coming to the FDC, then, of course, eventually joining the National Resistance Movement. And that's where they are. And the one was there that Anita is taking over from, the Right Honourable Jacob Oulanyah, RIP now, rest in peace. Also was a congressman who moved and came over from the Uganda People's Congress and also came to the National Resistance Movement Party. Excelled, got there, and he's died at the helm of leadership and things in this country. Talk about them and what do you think awaits the new parliament? Because majority of the people talk about whether they are going to unite a parliament, but I think the role of a speaker and the deputy speaker is not entirely to actually unite parliament, as if you're coming to a struggling home, that you need the father to come home and the children and the father and the mother and everybody. But what do you think awaits Anita Annette and Thomas Tayewa?
No, as a speaker, you are definitely a key leader. And if you don't reunite, you don't make a contribution to unite the members of parliament, because the members of parliament are the people, are we the people they represent. So a speaker should be seen to be a unifying agent. And so I think a speaker has a duty. It's actually a duty. The manner in which he or she presides over the parliament. But before we discuss that one, I want to say that in the life of Oulanyah, the now befallen comrade, I got endeared more to His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, because I have taken time to reflect on the relationship between His Excellency the President and Jacob Oulanyah, whom I can claim that I know something about him. And I'm not talking about Oulanyah of 2000, Oulanyah the deputy speaker, Oulanyah the speaker. No, I'm talking about, for me, when I speak about Oulanyah, I speak about Oulanyah the student and the student leader of the 90 when I joined the university, and we got them getting out of the university, but they were the leaders. He was the speaker of the guild, as Nobert Mao was the president of the guild. And I want to pay tribute to this team, because if anybody wants to understand what friendship must be, these give a very good example. People who have known Oulanyah and Mao, of course they have other friends like Honoria. I have not followed how they have been relating with Honoria, but the one thing that I knew is that at one point they had a chamber, 3 of them, Honoria, Oulanyah, and Mao. They were working in one chamber, but I think they separated this at some point. But that is not the big point I want to discuss. The big point is the magnanimity of His Excellency the President, in as far as we former congressmen are concerned. Oulanyah was a congressman, like I was. And now, when he changed position and said, I have now joined the NRM, we waited. I keenly waited, we watched. My now deputy ambassador, together with a few other people, we watched, said, let's see. Now,
my guy, Henry,
yes. And I have been close to, we have been close people with Now, we watched. His Excellency has not, if we are to use the word betrayed, has not betrayed his comrade, Oulanyah, whom he could have persuaded to join the NRM. And meaning that once you join the NRM, you join the president, much as you have had political differences, he sees you the NRM person now. That is what gives me hope. That's what has comforted me as far as the way he has supported Oulanyah, right from becoming deputy speaker to rising the position of speaker. He, and then the effort the president made, the investment he made in the life of Oulanyah to make sure that he survives, enabling him to go to the best hospital, to me has impressed me so much, and has made me even make give more support. Now my support to His Excellency the President is more than it has been before. Because I like, by the way, I liked Oulanyah from the time I saw him. And the last time he spoke to me, he rang me when I was in Paris. He was campaigning to become vice chairman of
National.
the North. So he talked to me on phone and said, I need support from where you are amongst the members there. That's the last time I spoke with him on phone. But for me, I admired Oulanyah. All these things I have been watching and reading and hearing, many of the things they have talked about Oulanyah, great things about Oulanyah, are not lies, are not exaggerations. Now, it is unfortunate that he has died before proving to us what he pronounced himself before election and after getting elected as speaker. Because we were destined to see a different
August House.
Oh yes, and a different and a unique speaker.
He was an advocate of quality of debate.
Exactly.
You have no information, don't stand to say anything. The principle of Chairman Mao Zedong of the CPC in China.
Yes, and of course, when you trace it to his origin as a guild speaker, their guild was not a simple one. A guild led by Mao as president, led by himself as speaker, and then you had I have forgotten what position Oulanyah was. I think Oulanyah could have been general secretary, because in the position of guild there was general secretary. You know, that was not. We got them. For us who were starting the university life, we didn't know much. Only that for me, I was mobilized to participate very well in the strike, and I have no regrets.
The strike that killed Patrick Okema.
In that strike.
Patrick Okema and Patrick Onyango.
I came from home, decided that I will be participating in demonstration. I had decided.
You were part of that strike that killed 2 university students.
Yes, only that on that day I had slept home in Chebando. So I came back on Monday morning only to get at this small gate of Bwaise. I saw people were standing in a shock. That's when I learned that something bad had happened. And I remember the role I played.
The late Oulanyah was the guild speaker at the time.
Yes.
Yes, and he convened the meeting. Kajuri had refused.
No, Kajuri had warned us, the professor.
The late now.
Yes, and even this man, Ryomoki. The Ryomokis were the chairman of North Court. These were the movers of things. Now,
Samuel Yomoki.
Yes, Yomoki, chairman of chairmen, because at some point he became chairman of chairmen. Now, Wanzige, he had another name called Wanzige. Now, when Oulanyah, when the Kajubi and the government, that is the Minister Mushega, these were the people threatening us. No strike, don't do this, don't. Now, Oulanyah convened them, another assembly in the Freedom Square and said, Professor Kajubi, the government said nobody should convene a general assembly. I have convened one.
That's Oulanyah.
Yes. Nobody, they said nobody should address a general assembly. I am addressing one. We said continue. You see? These are things that make sense to me. I said continue. Endelea.
Songa mbele.
Yeah. And you see, for me, I was watching Oulanyah every day because I was staying in a Mitchell. He was a Mitchellite. You know, people are not bringing these small things are not coming out. Mao was still sleeping on Block F in Mitchell. He had his presidential palace there.
At the university? Yes, because as a guild president. Yes, so you had the palace.
Yes. Then the ministers were supposed to stay in a single. It is me who refused the single. When I became a minister, I said, no, there is no single here. All of us are the same. You don't, for me, I'm a socialist. Now, Oulanyah was sleeping on Block E. And in my first year, I slept on Block E. So I was seeing him, we would pass each other just. So he was a great man. So the unfortunate thing is that these ideas, I saw him articulate them very well. Very unique ideas of reducing the hemorrhage, reducing the expenditure of Parliament in trips and other non-essential activities of Parliament. The favoritism, the improvement of debate in terms of quality, you know, the respect of every member of Parliament, the promotion of every member of Parliament to exact his or her aspirations. These are things that Oulanyah articulated before his election and after his election. Now, I had been very optimistic that I would see that come into reality. Or not come into reality, and you say, even you are not different. So, the death that has robbed this country of Oulanyah, has robbed us of Oulanyah, has really done us a very big blow. Because probably that could also transform into an improvement of other spheres and aspects of life. In the body politic of this country, because that is now Parliament. Probably that could also interest and influence the judiciary and then later the executive. Okay. Because we need to keep moving, because that's what transformational leadership is about. Okay. We need to keep improving. Today must be different and better than yesterday. Okay. And tomorrow must be different and better than today. Okay.
Now let's get to the new leaders here, and I want you to bring this into context. The people at the helm of Parliament now, the Right Honourable Anita Annett Among and Thomas Tayebwa. Before Oulanyah came in as Speaker, there was Rebecca Kadaga. Rebecca Kadaga, in the structure of the NRM party, is the second national vice chairperson in that now. She's a member of SEC. Now, Oulanyah comes in as Speaker and also a member of SEC. Away from being a member of Parliament, but also sitting at the topmost organ of the political party, the NRM party. And now, also as a vice chairperson, Northern Uganda. You now have Anita Annett Among, who in the party is just a member of the party and of course a member of Parliament, an MP for Bukedea. Tayebwa, I don't know what Tayebwa does in the party. I don't know. I don't know his other role in the party. I am now getting it from Parliament and getting it from Speaker and seeing them there. You had Kadaga as second national vice chairperson. You had Oulanyah as vice chairperson, Northern Uganda. Now, away from Kadaga, from Oulanyah into Anita and Yebwa. Their roles in there, one, they came in as flag bearers for the parties, for the party, and of course, Clinton and got the elections, and eventually now Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively. What is expected of them, and what, I want to look at parliamentary business vis-a-vis now the interests of the ruling party.
Now, what is expected of them, let me start with that. What is expected of them is to steer the parliament as effectively, efficiently as possible. To be a man and a woman of integrity, truthfulness, patriotic, in theory and practice. That is what is expected of them. That they will live to those qualities and expectations is a different matter. But now, I wish first of all to say congratulations to Madam Speaker and Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to confess that I don't know much about these people. Apart the way I've spoken about Oulanyah, and that is little I can speak. But
because you met Oulanyah at university,
yes, at university,
him as,
yes,
as a university student.
He led me. Even later, as a congressman, we had this following up. You try to hear. Actually, I used to get much of the information at some point through Igenyi Kemba. I don't know if you know Igenyi Kemba.
I know.
Because Igenyi Kemba later would also keep was closer to him. You know, because Oulanyah was not a congressman of the headquarters. They had some misgivings here and there, and complaining. Now for us who are there with the Dr. Wanyarare, the Cecilio Gwala, and everybody, those leaders. Now, but the other thing, the facts are what we can use. If I think what Ugandans should be now doing, because some Ugandans believe in miracles, they should be preoccupied with praying for miracles to happen in Parliament as far as the speakership is concerned. Why? Speakership in Parliament, or being a member of Parliament, is generally politics. And the politics, one needs to have grown. It is not just to wake up, like by the way some of those members of Parliament just woke up. Others simply calculated and said, but I hear that there is a lot of money in Parliament. You know, these musicians, some of the musicians who came up, and they are still learning. Others don't even know the language that is being used there. I have never debated, first of all. You know, I've been promoting a debate amongst school children. In fact, even I had a debate in Wanyange just recently between Wanyange and the Butiki in respect of the Women's Day. Because I said I will not wait for these people who are, let's first discuss with the youngsters. Now, people who don't have a history of debate in school find it very hard to participate in these public matters. Now, political leadership, the position of number 3 in the country. We ask, what is the trail like? From school, at university, after school, what have you been involved in? So I don't know. Because with Oulanyah, I've told you, maybe even during his secondary school time, he was a leader, the way Mao was in Namiryango. These were leaders, but the Oulanyah, the secondary school, I do not claim to know. Now, one needs that kind of experience. Because Oulanyah really convinced me that he was suitable for the position because of that history. 2, even after he left school life, he went into leadership in the early 2000s. becoming a member of parliament. Okay? Then later becomes a deputy speaker. But before that, he chaired committees of parliament. He chaired special committees, you know. Now, becomes the deputy speaker, 10 years. That one enabled him to marshal the necessary knowledge, the necessary skills, necessary competences, the necessary experience to run, to chair, to preside over such an important August House. Now, is it the same with the speaker and deputy today? It is unfortunate the deputy speaker deputized the speaker for just a matter of months. The current deputy speaker was a chief whip. That's the position, that the most distinguished position we have known. Chief whip, and was not enabled to chief whip for some years. So assessment, we need to be fair when we are assessing, and we should not also rush them. Let us not think that now we are dealing with the Kadaga Oulanyah team. Let us know that we are dealing with
a totally new team.
That requires a lot of training, requires a lot of learning, requires a lot of time to put us to a position that we aspire. That is if we know we have any aspiration. So that's why I'm saying that it will be a miracle if these exude certain qualities that we anticipated.
Because ordinarily, we had Sekandi in there, deputizing Ayume.
Exactly.
After deputizing, of course, Sekandi now became, and Kadaga came in to deputize Sekandi.
Yes.
Kadaga deputized Sekandi for 10 years. Then Sekandi moved on to. Then Kadaga also exuded and came on.
Yes.
Now, when Kadaga came on, Oulanyah had the opportunity to also deputize Kadaga. So you notice that Oulanyah had also a very good time in the chambers, 10 years as deputy, and of course all the things, and the committees of parliament that you also led, you remember, as the legal committee of parliament and the rules and procedure, because it's basically about that. And that's why everybody who talks about Oulanyah today will talk about how this man has been very astute too. Yes, exactly. Rules and procedure of parliament, because it's one of the committees of parliament that he led. And now, Anita Annette Among had also an opportunity of understanding and learning and getting mentorship from another very astute leader there, Jacob Oulanyah. And this was actually short-lived. That for you can't even actually say all the 7 months that they've been there, because we just talk about how many months? Just a couple of months. We talk about May 24th is when they were both elected, and the man dies in March the following year. So before they make a year together, and even the times that I think they were in there, they didn't get enough of this. So then it brings, of course, Thomas Tayewa. Tayewa had just come to cabinet as government chief whip. Now, as he was also mastering the art of whipping the majority party in the house, he again now goes on to that. Well, Ugandans are saying all this and that, but by and large, I want to look at the interests of the political party, even when we fall back to the position of Montesquieu's doctrine of separation of powers. You know, we keep talking about these things. Separation of powers is be independent, be independent, be independent. But well, whether that is even practical, I don't know. But with or without the doctrine of separation of powers, I'm just looking at the parliament now. Because by and large, you have a vision 2040, you have the NDP3, which you've just started working on. You now have the parish development model, which is also another oiler to that. You have the NRM manifesto, which is here until 2026. And I'm trying to look at all this because when cabinet is seated like they're seated now, when the president is moving and talking to people differently, just day after yesterday, we were in Soroti at the university, talk about the restocking and of course compensation to claimants, the warded claimants and all these others. It all gets back to the president fulfilling the social contract in the manifesto with Ugandans. And Parliament is supposed to be part of that, to appropriate, to budget, to do all the things, to legislate, to ensure that things come through and through. So should we expect much, or give them time to learn how to manage and how to do the things as we look on?
Of course, there is a saying that time and tide wait for no man. We are running, Ugandans are rushing so much, and they want things, and there is a section that wants these things done tomorrow. You are talking about today. For them, they want these things done tomorrow, or then others are saying these things should be done yesterday. So, and yet, I have said that this is a special team which needs to be handled with the care. Because the importance of mentorship is well articulated in a book written by Thabo Mbeki. He talks a lot about mentorship, in asking who is your mentor. You must be telling us who your mentor is, because now, like this lady, the new speaker, Among, if she had served for 5-10 years, she could say, my mentor, Oulanyah. Even now, she says it is he was her mentor, but the mentorship was incomplete. Because they haven't completed the term, and we don't know the accomplishments and so on and so forth. And therefore, but as I've told you, those people you have mentioned, they rose through the ranks to come to positions that they came to. Rebecca Kadaga, and you see Rebecca Kadaga has a history of parliamentarianism, dating to 1989. Can you imagine? 1989 becomes a member of the council, the
NRC.
The NRC. Now, Taiwa, when do you become member of parliament? How long have you stayed in parliament? Mochara Among, how much time have you spent in parliament? Because leave alone the positions and chairmanship.
But parliament now.
Parliament. Because parliament is also learning ground. It is a mentoring opportunity. So now, this team and the parliament generally, because you are so talking about the budgeting, the legislation and so on, will require a lot of support of the executive. Now, the executive, and that's, people should understand, when we talk about separation of powers, when I was learning this doctrine, separation of powers as advocated by whoever, is not and other people. It does not mean the same as total independence. Rather, it means interdependence. Because the other one thing, the discussion is like this. The reality is that it is the executive which initiates a bill. When you initiate a bill, you are legislating. But you are saying legislation is a preserve of parliament. You know, when the president, the chief executive, assents the bill, that is also legislation. Until he has assented, it is not a law. So you cannot say total separation. No, that's out. Whoever is dreaming into that doesn't know the facts and doesn't know the realities. That's why I'm saying that for us to benefit out of effective, efficient, patriotic legislation, presided over by the two, will require a lot of support from the executive and also us, the population. Let us not make a mistake of making unrealistic expectations. I've laid bare some of the realities that we have to contend with. The lack of experience. In the 1890s, the Parliament of France, the revolutionary France, decided to elect a constituent assembly. Constituent assembly, which was now going to make a new constitution, a new law for the revolutionary France. Now, it is said that many of these, according to Dennis Richards is one of those writers on European history, says that unfortunately, the Constituent Assembly was bedeviled by the fact that many of the members of the Constituent Assembly were men of no experience. So experience is very, very important.
Very important.
You mean you want to compare me with anybody? Me who studied my politics when I was a student.
You don't want to be compared.
You just compare with somebody who is waking up. I might not be exploiting my full potential, but my knowledge and skills dates to time of secondary school, time of university. By the way, I was a minister.
At the university?
Yes, at the university.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much, RDC Chainese Nyonjo. And I just think we now need to just stop the conversation here and to let you know that more about the barrier arrangements of the Right Honorable Jacob Lokoli Oulanyah will be told to us by the Minister for Presidency. She is the chairperson of that organizing committee, the Honorable Mire Dwakababalanda. She will let us know. She will tell us. She will let us know, and of course, we will let you know when the body will be getting into the country and what happens when the body is finally here. We will wait. We will not speculate. Thank you very much. My name is Jagen Semakola Zikusouka Sajabi. Shalom.